Hey guys, tonight we're going to do something a little different. Close your eyes and imagine. You're not in your bed with that soft pillow, not listening to me on your fancy phone, but lying on a pile of old straw in a hut that stinks of manure and wood smoke. You can hear the wind howling through the cracks in the walls. The fire's smoke curls thick around your head because there's no chimney, just a hole in the roof that barely works. Your lungs burn with every breath, and even though you're only hours old, you've already got grime under your fingernails. You're a child of the Dark Ages, and you probably won't survive this. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And post your location and local time below. Always love seeing where and when you're listening in from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're born in a one-room hut that smells like a barn because, well, half of it is a barn. A thin wattle wall separates you from the animals. Your first lullaby is the sound of a goat snoring, punctuated by the occasional fart. Yes, you get to share your living quarters with livestock. It's actually considered smart. Their body heat keeps you warm in the winter. Of course, they also attract fleas, lice, and rats. You scratch constantly. Your mother groans in the dark, not from childbirth anymore, but from exhaustion. She's had too many kids, most of whom didn't survive. Infancy is a gamble, and you're the latest roll of the dice. Historians still argue whether infant mortality in some medieval villages was 20, 30%, or even 50%. But let's just say no one's betting on you reaching adulthood. She wraps you in rags. Don't think cute baby blanket. These are cast-offs, coarse linen, stained with older siblings' spit up and worse. There's no concept of sterile here. Germ theory is centuries away. You cry and the midwife shrugs, saying it's good for your lungs, ignoring the lungful of acrid smoke you're choking on. You lie on the dirt floor. Straw cushions it, sure, but the straw hasn't been changed in months. It's matted with manure, dragged in on boots. Fleas hop across your face. Your father doesn't even look at you right away. He's busy banking the embers in the hearth so they don't go out overnight. If they do, there's no convenient matchbook. He'll have to borrow fire from a neighbor or strike flint for ages. Outside it's pitch black, no streetlights. The village paths are muddy, pocked with waste and refuse. Everyone just dumps trash in the ditch because municipal sanitation doesn't exist. The pigs wander freely, rooting around for scraps, helping clean it up in their charming piggy way. Sometimes the pigs eat babies. That's not a bedtime-friendly thought, but it did happen often enough to become local lore. Your first experience of comfort is being swaddled tight to keep you from scratching yourself raw. The wrappings don't get washed much. Lye soap exists, sure, but it's precious and stings like mad, so no one uses it often. You learn to live with the stink. You're only a few hours old and you already smell like a medieval barn. Because you are, in fact, in one. Your parents look at you with a kind of guarded hope. Another pair of hands in the field someday. Another mouth to feed right now. They're calculating already. Your older siblings eye you with a mix of curiosity and resentment. Fewer scraps for them. Outside, the wind rattles the shutters, which are just wooden boards jammed into the window holes. Glass? Don't make me laugh. That's for churches and castles. Your family's home is so dark that even in daylight, it's murky. Fires burn all the time to give a dim orange glow, but there's no chimney. Just that smoke hole, which mostly works, except when it doesn't. The room fills with eye-stinging haze every evening. People in the Middle Ages had smoke blindness as a regular condition. It's what you get when you grow up blinking through constant soot. Not to mention the coughing. Hope you're not asthmatic. Not that they'd know or care. Your mother tries to nurse you. She's malnourished herself. Her milk is thin. If she can't produce enough, you'll get pap, a mix of water and flour that's a bacterial festival waiting to happen. Historians still argue whether wet nurses were common for peasants, but either way, good luck finding one who isn't nursing 10 other starving babies. Night stretches long in the Dark Ages. There's no clock, no phone, no electric lamp. Just the fire and candles if you're lucky. Candles cost money. Most peasants use rushlights, bundles of dried plants dipped in tallow. They sputter, stink, and drip greasy smoke. Imagine drifting off by that romantic light. You're lulled to sleep by the creak of timbers, the shifting of animals, and the wet cough of your older brother, who's probably not going to see next winter. Disease is normal. Everyone's sick in some way. There's no such thing as healthy, only not dying today. Let's not forget the medieval custom of sharing beds. Your whole family piles in. There's warmth in numbers, but also lice, fleas, and the sweet aroma of unwashed humans. You get to breathe your father's sour ale breath all night. He snores like an ox. You get used to the smell of sweat and sour milk and animal droppings. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, someone wakes to tend the fire, or check on the animals, or use the chamber pot. No indoor plumbing here. A clay pot in the corner serves as your toilet, which you have to empty in the morning. Usually straight into the ditch outside. Don't fall in. Your parents might murmur prayers before sleeping. Christianity is a given, but the finer points of theology are lost on most peasants. They know one thing: hell is real, and if you don't behave, you're going there. The priest reminds them every Sunday. It's not a comforting faith so much as an insurance policy. As you doze in your itchy cocoon of rags, you dream of what life might be if you survive the year. Maybe next winter you'll be strong enough to help gather firewood or scare crows from the fields. Exciting career prospects. But for now, you're just a bundle of cries and hope, barely aware of the world except for its darkness, cold, and persistent stink. And if you do drift off, it's not to peaceful silence, but to the symphony of snoring family members, shifting animals, and the hiss of the dying fire. The village itself sleeps fitfully. Wolves prowl outside the fence, or so people whisper. Bandits are a fear too, but they rarely bother with the poorest huts. Nothing to steal but your last crumb. That's some comfort, right? Even your dreams are grim. You can't imagine castles or knights. You've never seen one. Your world is the hut, the mud, the biting wind, and the constant threat of death, and yet somehow you're alive. For now. You wake to the sound of your mother's voice yelling at your older brother to get the fire going again. There's no gentle sunrise alarm clock, just the abrupt command to haul yourself up from the straw, scratch the flea bites, and stumble toward the hearth. The air is freezing. You huddle closer to the embers, trying not to breathe too deeply because the smoke instantly makes your eyes tear up. But the fire is your friend. It's how you'll cook the day's meal, which is a generous term. Don't get your hopes up. Forget pancakes, eggs, or even porridge with honey. Today's breakfast is yesterday's stale bread soaked in a little water to soften it. You take a bite and feel the grit of ground millstone in your teeth. Medieval milling isn't precision engineering. Dental work? Don't even ask. This is your diet, day after day. Bread. More bread. Maybe a thin gruel made of whatever grain you scrape together. Barley, oats, or rye. Wheat is for the rich. If you're lucky, there's a carrot or turnip that didn't rot in storage. A treat. Your teeth ache constantly. Historians still argue whether medieval peasants had better or worse teeth than modern people. Less sugar but more grit. Either way, you're losing molars young. No dentist to fill the cavities, no Novocaine. If it hurts too much, they yank it out with whatever pliers are handy. Enjoy that mental image as you chew. You eye the pot over the fire. It's black with soot. Has it ever been properly scrubbed? Ha! Lye soap is for washing clothes occasionally, and skin rarely. Your mother uses a stick to stir the gruel and mutters about the last of the salt. It's expensive, you know. There's no corner store. Salt comes from merchants who travel dangerous roads, and the Lord takes his cut. So your food is bland, but on special days, it's just bland and gritty. If you want meat, well, you don't. Meat is rare. Chickens are too valuable for their eggs. Pigs you keep as long as you can before slaughter. Cows, they're for milk if you have them at all. Hunting is mostly banned by law unless you want the Lord's men to string you up. Poaching is serious business. Like, we'll chop your hand off serious. You have no fork. Those are suspiciously fancy and new. Spoons you might carve yourself. Knives are prized, often your only personal item of real value. So you eat with crusty fingers, slurping from a shared bowl. Hope your older brother didn't sneeze in it. The family sits around the fire, knees drawn up, trying to stay warm. There's no dining table. Maybe a rough board propped on stools if you're lucky. More likely, it's the floor. You're surrounded by the smell of smoke, sweat, and that one turnip going off in the corner. Someone cracks a joke about the bread being so hard you could kill a rat with it. Everyone laughs. Humor is essential when the food is this bad. You'd better get used to it, because you will eat this every single day. Except Lent. Then it's worse. Oh, you'll have a feast day now and then. A wedding, a festival, a saint's day. Then you might get ale, maybe a little meat, cheese, if there's any left after paying your tithe to the church and taxes to the Lord. Your mother dreams of making cheese more often, but the cows are sickly and produce little milk. One quirky medieval recipe? Pottage. It's basically a vegetable stew that sits in the pot for days, even weeks. You just keep adding water, scraps, maybe a bone if you have it. Each meal is slightly different because it's the same pot evolving over time. Think of it as early fusion cuisine, just with more bacteria. Your father slurps noisily. He's missing 2 teeth, broken by years of chewing the same bread. He's a stoic man who says grace before eating even this mess. He thanks God for his bounty, which seems frankly a little sarcastic at this point. Historians still argue whether medieval peasants starved regularly or were simply always on the edge. Truth is, it varied. One bad harvest, and you're done. You remember last year when the rains didn't stop. The fields flooded. Grain rotted. Prices skyrocketed because the Lord wanted his share first. Families boiled roots and weeds. Some died. Others survived on chestnuts and acorns. You heard of one village that turned to cannibalism, but your parents don't like to talk about that. Breakfast done. You help clear the bowls, which means licking them clean and stacking them. Water is precious. You don't waste it washing dishes. Besides, boiling kills everything, right? You watch your mother bundle up what's left of the bread for lunch. She wraps it in cloth, which hasn't been washed in weeks. You don't even notice the smell anymore. Outside, the rooster crows. He'll probably be next week's dinner if he stops being useful. Chickens are the real aristocrats here. Your older sister grabs a basket and heads out to forage. Berries if it's summer, roots if it's not, mushrooms if she's brave, but you have to know which ones kill you. Fun family game. Which fungus is a death sentence? You're too young to work the field seriously, but you still help. Chasing crows, pulling weeds, scaring off animals. Your father trudges out with a hoe over his shoulder. He turns back once to wave, but you can see the worry in his eyes. The harvest must be good this year. Must. Because if it isn't, you remember that last winter well. You were so hungry you chewed on old leather. Don't laugh. It happens. Your stomach cramped until you cried. Your mother wept when there wasn't enough for your baby brother. He didn't make it. No one talks about him anymore. Tonight's dinner will be the same as breakfast, plus maybe a scrap of vegetable. Maybe. The pot will bubble over the fire, filling the room with steam and smoke. You'll huddle close for warmth and try not to think about tomorrow. The bread your mother bakes cracks as it cools. It's rock hard by the second day. She softens it in water. You learn to dunk it quickly so it doesn't dissolve into paste. That's dinner theater in the Dark Ages. You don't complain. Complaining gets you cuffed on the ear. Gratitude is survival. You're alive and you ate today. That's a good day. Later, as you lie in your rags, stomach making sad gurgles, you dream of something better. You heard stories from the traveling peddler once about lands where fruit grows all year, where bread is white and soft. Your father snorted at that, said it was lies to get you to buy cheap tin jewelry. But you hold on to it. Because if you don't dream, you might remember what you actually ate today. You wake up scratching. Again, it's not a mosquito bite, it's an entire ecosystem on your body. The linen shift you sleep in is rougher than a burlap sack and home to lice that don't even bother hiding anymore. You've named some of them out of grim humor. Your mother slaps your hand away gently. Don't scratch, she says, as if that will help. But it's true. Scratching breaks the skin, and infection is a death sentence here. Not that you'd know it as infection. To you, it's just the red, oozing thing that killed your cousin last spring. Clothing in the Dark Ages is not about fashion, it's about not freezing to death. Your family's clothing chest is a joke. It's a wooden box with 3 tunics for 7 people. You get whichever one isn't damp from last night's sweat or mud. Your shirt is coarse wool. It's scratchy even when new, but this one's been mended so many times it's basically patchwork. The colors are earthy because dye is expensive. Even when dyed, it fades to the shade of dirt quickly, which is handy because it's always covered in dirt anyway. Historians still argue whether peasants really wore gray all the time or if they had brighter colors on feast days. But your daily wear? Stained, faded, and crawling with life. You try to shake out the lice. They cling on like tiny landlords. Fleas join the fun, biting your ankles. Your mother has given up on delousing daily. It's just part of living. On rare occasions, she'll boil the clothes to kill the worst of them. But wood is precious, and boiling clothes costs fuel you might need for food. Your socks? If you even have them, they're strips of cloth wound around your feet and tied off. Shoes? You might have a pair of rough leather ones, but they're so worn, the mud seeps in anyway. Most days, you go barefoot. You develop thick, cracked soles that look like old tree bark. You notice your older brother trying to pick fleas out of his hair, sighing when he realizes it's pointless. He's resigned. So are you. Outside, the cold bites at your face. Your cloak is thin. It's not lined with anything fancy. If you're lucky, you might have a hood. Otherwise, you just pull it tighter and shiver. Fashion isn't about choice. It's about inheritance. You wear what your older sibling outgrew, even if it's full of holes. Repair is the only game in town. Your mother is a wizard with a bone needle and rough thread, sewing patches on patches until the original fabric is just a rumor. You remember that one time you saw the Lord's wife riding past. She wore blue, not faded blue, but actual, deep, rich blue. Indigo, imported dye, worth more than your whole family's yearly rent. She didn't look at you. Why would she? She was too busy keeping her skirts out of the mud. Your father tugs his tunic straight. It's belted with a rope. Leather belts are precious. He has one he guards like a treasure. The buckle is bent and tarnished, but it's his. A sign that he's someone. Historians still argue about whether peasants cared about appearance. Of course they did. It's human nature. But caring doesn't mean you have choices. You do what you can. Maybe you have a brooch carved from bone. Maybe you weave a colored cord for your belt. It's all you can afford, but it matters. You don't bathe much. Let's just say that outright. Water is cold and precious. Heating it costs fuel. There's no soap except the harsh lye variety that burns your skin, so you wipe with a damp rag when you can. Maybe you get in the river in summer. That's about it. A medieval bathhouse? Ha. Maybe in town if you're lucky and can pay. But even those are questionable. The local priest warns that bathhouses encourage sin and disease. They're breeding grounds for fleas, lice, and worse. You try to comb your hair with a rough wooden comb. It's missing teeth. Your hair is matted, so you give up. You tie it back with a dirty cord and move on. Your mother braids her hair to keep it manageable. She hums while doing it, but you see the frustration in her eyes when she hits another knot. She cuts it out with a knife. No scissors, just a blade that also cuts food, rope, and occasionally animal throats. You help her mend clothes sometimes. Your fingers fumble with the bone needle, pricking yourself. You suck the blood away. It's not the worst thing you'll taste today. Your family's best garment? A cloak lined with fur. Don't get excited. It's rabbit fur. Patchy, bald in spots. It's for the coldest nights, shared among whoever's sick or shivering most. And don't even think about underwear like you know it. Linen braise if you're male, a shift if you're female. No elastic, no cute prints. Just functional and, let's be real, constantly dirty. You remember that joke your brother told last night? Why did the flea leave the peasant's shirt? Pause for effect. Because he wanted better company on the pig. Everyone laughed. It wasn't funny, but laughter is currency in this life. You scratch again. Your mother swats your hand. Leave it, she says. They'll bite worse if you wake them up. That's your fashion advice in the Dark Ages. Don't wake the fleas. Dinner tonight? You'll probably drip soup on your tunic. Who cares? It's already stained beyond recognition. Laundry day is when you get so crusty you can't bend. Washing clothes? The village has a communal tub, if you can spare the time and fuel to heat water. Otherwise, you take them to the stream. Smack them on a rock. Hope the cold doesn't numb your hands too badly. Don't fall in. The current is strong and no one's jumping in to save you. You once lost a tunic to the river. Your mother cursed for an hour. Clothes are wealth. Losing one is losing weeks of labor. Your father tells you not to complain. He remembers the year he had to wear the same tunic for months without washing. He says he grew used to it. Maybe you will too. But tonight, as you curl up on the straw, tunic bunched under your chin, you dream of soft fabrics. Silks you heard about from that traveler who sold cheap knives and big lies. He said in the East, they wear cloth so smooth it feels like water. You can't even picture it. You drift off scratching at the bite on your neck, mumbling to yourself, someday. But you don't really believe it. You wake up needing to pee. Not the most regal medieval experience, but definitely the most universal. You blink in the dark, careful not to roll onto your sister, who's snoring softly beside you on the straw. The embers in the hearth glow like angry eyes, casting just enough light to see the pot in the corner. Yes, the chamber pot. Your throne awaits. You shuffle over, trying not to step on your brother's foot. He mumbles in his sleep, rolls away. You squat carefully, the cold biting in places you'd rather it didn't. The pot is half full. That smell is unforgettable. When you're done, you gingerly set it aside. You don't dare empty it in the night. You'd have to step outside, and let's be clear. There is no pleasant medieval bathroom trip. There's no plumbing, no flush. Just you, the pot, and the promise of hauling its contents to the ditch tomorrow. That ditch, by the way, runs along the village path, collecting everyone's business. It's essentially the local sewer, open air, breeding flies in the summer, turning slick with ice in winter. You're so used to the stench you barely notice. Your mother says it builds character. Don't spill it, she always warns, because you have spilled it before. Onto the straw, onto your leg. Good times. Historians still argue whether chamber pots were universal or a luxury for some peasants. Maybe they just used the corner of the hut if they were desperate enough. You don't want to test the theory. You crawl back to your place on the straw. You wrap yourself in your cloak. It doesn't really keep out the cold, but it's better than nothing. Morning comes gray and damp. No bright sunrise streaming through glass windows. You don't have windows, just holes with shutters which don't block wind well. Your mother rouses everyone. It's time to empty the pot, your least favorite chore. You stagger outside, pot in hand. The mud squelches under your bare feet. You slip once, cursing. You reach the ditch and pour it out. It joins the other fluids. Waste from your neighbors. You wave to the man across the path, who's doing the same thing. He nods, as if this is normal, because it is. You gag a little at the smell, but you're used to it. Sort of. Flies buzz even now in the chill. You see the pig wandering by, rooting in the muck. Pigs are the medieval garbage disposal. They eat anything. Absolutely anything. You try not to think about that too hard when you eat pork next feast day. You wipe your hands on your tunic. You'll wash them at the stream later. Maybe. If there's time. If the water's not frozen. Inside, your mother is tending the hearth. She pokes the fire until it grudgingly gives off more heat. She throws in another log. Wood is precious. Your father and brother spent all day yesterday gathering it. You burn it sparingly. The hearth also serves as the kitchen. There's a pot suspended over the flames. Last night's stew bubbles again, more water added to stretch it. It smells edible. Your mother mutters about the chimney. There isn't one, just the hole in the roof. Smoke curls and lingers, settling on every surface. Your lungs burn a little. You rub your eyes. They're always gritty. Historians still argue whether constant smoke damage was worse than poor nutrition for medieval peasants. Both seem like solid competitors. You glance at the walls. They're wattle and daub, wood woven together and smeared with mud and straw. It's sturdy enough to keep out wind when it's not falling apart. The gaps let in drafts. You patch them with anything you can, old rags, more mud. The floor is dirt. Of course it is. You sweep it with a bundle of twigs tied together. Dust just relocates for a bit before settling again. You might sprinkle fresh straw, but that's for special days. When you do, it feels like luxury. Clean straw smells amazing for about a day before it's trampled and fouled again. Bathing? Don't make me laugh. Water has to be hauled from the well or stream. Heated over the hearth if you want it warm. That's fuel you might need for cooking. Your mother sometimes heats a little for the baby. You're jealous. For you, maybe a rag dipped in cold water wiped over your face. If you're really lucky, a quick dunk in the stream in summer. You remember one time your sister fell in. She nearly drowned. No one taught her to swim. Who has time for that? Your father spits into the hearth. The sizzle sounds angry. He's had enough of the smoke today. But he can't put it out. The fire is life. It cooks your food, warms the hut, provides light. No candles here. Those cost money. Maybe rushlights, twisted plants dipped in tallow. They smell awful when they burn, and they sputter like they're dying. You remember last winter when you sat around a single rushlight, shadows huge on the walls, listening to your father tell stories about saints and sinners. About the time he saw a hanging in the next village. Public justice as a warning. Your mother told him to hush. Not in front of the children, she said. You shivered even closer to the fire. You help with chores, empty the pot, sweep, stir the stew, feed the animals, which live with you. Chickens wander inside sometimes. They peck at dropped crumbs. The goat's pen is technically outside, but you know he sneaks in. You hear him at night. The floor is streaked with muddy prints. Your mother sighs. She'll sweep them again. Sometimes you're sent to fetch water. You hate this job. The bucket is heavy, the path muddy. In winter, the ice cuts your fingers. In summer, the flies swarm the well. You're careful not to spill. Your father yelled last time, water isn't free. It costs your body's effort. You know every shortcut to the stream, every slippery patch. Your friend once fell in, he got sick after, died a week later. People said it was bad humors, or a demon, or just bad luck. Historians still argue whether medieval people really believed those things literally. You're pretty sure they did. You don't think about it too hard. You can't afford to. You return with the water, arms shaking. Your mother nods, lets you rest a second before telling you to help scrape last night's stew from the pot. It's crusted on. No soap, just elbow grease and sand if you're lucky. Your fingernails are black with dirt. No one cares. You scratch your ankle, fleas scatter. The pot for tonight is almost clean enough. Your mother will fill it with water, scraps, maybe a turnip. It'll bubble over the fire all day. By night it's dinner. You don't complain. What's the point? You're up before dawn, because of course you are. The rooster's been at it for an hour, and your mother's already poked you with a stick to get moving. The fire in the hearth needs tending, the animals need feeding, and the field doesn't plow itself. Your bones ache even though you're just a child. There's no childhood here. At 5, you're expected to carry your weight. Well, as much as your skinny arms can manage. Your first task today is hauling kindling from the pile outside. It's damp and heavy, and you slip on the mud. You hear your mother's voice. Stop playing and get up. Playing. Right. You wipe your nose on your sleeve and keep dragging the wood. Your fingers are numb from the cold, and you curse under your breath. Quietly. Last time your father heard you, he cuffed your ear. You finally get the kindling inside. Smoke is already curling from the hearth. You add the damp sticks and try to coax them to catch. You blow carefully. Sparks glow, then die. You try again, feeling dizzy from the smoke. Your older brother is already outside with father, preparing the field. He's got a hoe that's more rust than metal, but it works well enough. You envy him a little. He's outside, away from your mother's barking orders. But you also know he'll come in sweating, scratched and bleeding later. Work is life, your father says. He's right. If you don't work, you don't eat. Historians still argue whether peasants truly worked dawn to dusk every day. But standing here, coughing on smoke while stirring a pot of thin gruel, you're not inclined to debate. Breakfast is rushed, same as ever. Stale bread, dunked in water. You chew carefully so you don't crack another tooth. Your sister picks at hers, listless. She's been sick. Your mother eyes her with worry but doesn't say anything. There's no doctor, no apothecary, just prayers. Once the food is choked down, you're out the door. The air is cold enough to bite your nose. The ground is a mess of mud and straw, churned by countless feet and animal hooves. You have to cross the yard carefully so you don't sink in. You join your father and brother. They're already sweating, turning over the soil. It's hard-packed and stingy. The wooden plow creaks. It's a simple scratch plow, just enough to cut shallow furrows. Deep plowing is for rich landowners with better tools and oxen that aren't half-starved. You take the hoe when your brother tires. It's almost too big for you. You lean your whole weight into it, trying to break the clods. Your hands blister fast. Your father watches you with grim approval. Good, toughen up. You want to tell him you're 7, but you don't. Lunch is in the field. A scrap of bread and a piece of onion. You sit on a rock, chewing slowly to make it last. You don't talk much. Conversation wastes energy. Your brother cracks a joke about eating dirt. You manage a laugh. Humor keeps you from crying. You hear church bells in the distance. The church is a couple of miles away. You'll go on Sunday if you're lucky, if the work can wait, which it usually can't. But today isn't Sunday. Today is just another day of scraping life from uncooperative soil. You remember last spring when the Lord's men came to collect taxes. You were out here then too. You watched your father argue, voice shaking. They didn't care. They wanted their share first before you even planted. They took grain from last year's store. You went hungry so you could sow the next crop. It wasn't enough. It's never enough. Historians still argue whether feudal dues were ruinous or just the way things were. That's comforting for them, not for you. You scratch at the flea bites under your collar. They're angry red welts now. You think you see something moving in your sleeve. You slap it. Miss, your father sighs. He knows you're tired. He's tired too. But he doesn't stop. He's been doing this since he could walk. You look at the field. It's small. Maybe enough to feed you all if the harvest is good. If the weather is kind, if no disease comes, if the Lord doesn't raise the rent again. That's a lot of ifs. You lean on the hoe, staring at the horizon. Gray sky. No promise of rain yet, but it will come. Flood the fields, or maybe it won't come at all. Crack the ground into useless clay. You don't get to choose. When the sun starts sinking, your mother calls from the hut. Dinner's ready. Ready is generous. It's the same stew, stretched with more water. Maybe a chunk of carrot if she found one that wasn't rotten. You trudge inside. The warmth of the hearth is welcome even if it chokes you. Your sister is coughing. She has a fever. You feel a stab of fear. Your mother dabs her forehead with a damp cloth. That's the treatment. You sit and eat. You try not to think about the taste or the lack of it. Your father thanks God for the food. You mouth the words. You hear wind outside rattling the shutters. The roof creaks. Your father patched it last month. It'll need more work soon. Your mother says you're lucky. Some people have no roof at all. You nod. You are lucky. After eating, you help clean up, which means licking the bowl, stacking it, and setting it aside for tomorrow. Water is precious. You sit by the fire. Your father tells a story about when he was your age, how he fell asleep in the field and woke to find a snake curled beside him. You shiver. He laughs. Your sister tries to smile. She's pale. You know tomorrow will be the same. Up before dawn. Work until dusk. Sleep on straw. You scratch again. Your mother doesn't even scold you this time. The fire pops. Sparks drift up toward the hole in the roof. Smoke curls and stings your eyes. You lean against your brother. He smells like dirt and sweat. So do you. Your father says it's time to sleep. You lie down on the straw. Your sister curls up beside you, shivering. You throw your cloak over her. You listen to the wind outside. You hear the pig snuffling. You close your eyes, dreaming of anything better. You wake to the sound of hooves in the lane. Not the plodding of your old nag, but the clattering stomp of a war horse. Your father's face goes blank. He motions you inside. You obey, peeking through the rough shutter slats. The Lord is making his rounds. He doesn't look at you. He doesn't see you at all. He rides past on a tall horse, draped in a faded but once fine cloth. His cloak is lined with fur, real fur, not the ragged rabbit scraps your family treasures for winter. His boots are stitched and polished. A sword hangs from his belt. You swallow hard. That sword isn't just decoration. He's flanked by 2 men-at-arms. Their armor gleams, even if it's dented from years of use. They hold spears casually, but you know they're ready to use them. Your father steps outside, bowing his head low. Your mother wipes her hands on her tunic and joins him, though she doesn't meet the Lord's eye. That would be presumptuous. Dangerous, even. Historians still argue whether peasants were truly slaves or just heavily taxed tenants. You don't care about the semantics. You know one thing: you belong to him. You're not a person to him. You're a line in his ledger, a rent payment, a warm body to turn the soil and hand over the harvest. Your father mumbles something about the rent. The steward rides forward, not the Lord himself. The steward's face is pinched, sour. He has a ledger tied to his belt. He unties it, flips it open. He's not impressed with your father's excuses. You strain to hear. Short on last season's tithe, the steward says. Your father tries to explain the bad weather, the blight. The steward snorts. He doesn't care. The Lord needs his due. There's no mercy. Just calculation. Eventually, your father hands over a coin. It's a pitiful sum, but it's everything you have. Your mother glances back at the hut where you and your siblings are watching. She's thinking of the empty grain bin. The steward writes something in his ledger. He closes it with finality. "See you at harvest," he says. Your father nods, head bowed. The Lord doesn't say a word. He tugs the reins and rides on. You let out the breath you were holding. Inside, your sister starts crying. Your mother hushes her, voice trembling. Your father stands in the yard for a long time, staring at the muddy ruts the horses left behind. You step outside slowly. He doesn't notice you at first. When he does, he puts a hand on your shoulder. His fingers are calloused, cracked. "Remember," he says quietly, "he owns this land. We just borrow it." You nod. You don't really understand all of it, but you know enough. You know that even the dirt you stand on isn't yours. That night at dinner, no one talks much. You push your bread around in the stew. Your sister sniffles. Your mother pretends not to see. Your brother finally breaks the silence. Why doesn't father just tell them no? Your father doesn't look up. He keeps eating. "Because they have swords," your mother says flatly. Your brother goes quiet. You remember that the steward once had a man beaten in the village square. For stealing, for poaching, you're not sure anymore. But you remember the blood, the way he screamed. Your mother prays at night. She prays for the Lord's soul, for mercy at the next collection, for rain, for sun, for anything. You're not sure anyone is listening. But you pray too, because you don't know what else to do. The next morning you're up before dawn again. Back in the fields, your father is even quieter than usual. You hoe the stubborn soil, watching your breath fog in the cold air. Your brother mutters under his breath about running away. To where? There's nowhere to go. You know someone who tried once. He left in the night. They caught him a week later, half-starved, trying to beg in the next village. They brought him back and shaved his head so everyone would know. A mark of shame. Your father saw it happen. He told you in a low voice that running just makes it worse. Historians still argue about the exact legal status of serfs and villains. But you know one thing. You're not free. You don't own anything. Even your tools are technically the Lord's. The hut you sleep in, the field you break your back over, all his. Your mother mends your tunic that night, muttering about the rent. She pricks her finger on the bone needle and curses softly. You almost laugh. It's the only time she swears. You help her thread the needle again. Your fingers shake. Outside, the wind rattles the shutters. The pig snuffles. Your father comes in, stooping under the low door. He sets down the hoe carefully, like it's made of gold. It might as well be. Without it, you don't eat. He sits heavily on the bench. Your mother ladles out the stew, thin, watery, the same taste as every night. But tonight, it tastes like shame. Your father thanks God anyway. You all say amen. Your mother smiles weakly. At least we're together. You nod, but you don't feel better. Your brother kicks the dirt floor. If I was the Lord, I'd have more stew. Your father doesn't answer. He just closes his eyes. You lie down later on the straw, the smoke from the hearth swirling above you. You can hear the wind outside, the occasional howl of a wolf in the distance. You pull your sister close. She's warm. That's something. You close your eyes and dream of being the Lord. Riding a horse, wearing fur, eating meat. You know it'll never happen, but you dream anyway. You wake coughing. Again. Smoke is as much a part of your morning as stale bread. The fire died to embers overnight, but the room is still thick with haze. Your eyes sting. You rub them with the back of your hand, feeling grime scrape across your skin. Your sister shivers beside you. She's always cold. You throw an arm over her, trying to share what little heat you have. She mumbles something in her sleep and curls tighter against you. Your father's already up. You hear him grumbling as he pokes at the coals with an iron rod that's so bent it could pass for modern art. Sparks fly, dancing in the gloom. He curses under his breath. Your mother's voice is sharp. Watch the straw. You've had that scare before. Fire is a constant terror. No one has insurance. One stray ember and your entire home is gone. You try not to think about it. The hut is one room. That's it. No bedrooms, no privacy. Everyone sleeps together on the straw, limbs tangled, snoring, farting, mumbling in dreams. You're so used to it you can't imagine sleeping alone. Your father finally gets the fire going. Flames lick at the pot suspended on the hook. Yesterday's stew is still there. It never fully goes away. It just gets reheated, stretched with water, and added to. It's the family heirloom recipe. Your mother adds a handful of withered greens. She picked them herself. You hope she knows what they are. The wrong leaf can kill you. Foraging is an art. Historians still argue about how often medieval people actually foraged. But you know your family does. You have to. The roof creaks overhead. The smoke hole is barely functional. Smoke pools at the top of the room before it escapes. You watch it swirl, fascinated despite yourself. Your older brother starts a coughing fit. He spits into the ashes. Black phlegm. You look away. No one mentions it. You help feed the animals. They're not in a barn somewhere. They're here. The goat is tied in the corner, chewing cud like he's got nowhere better to be. The chickens roost on a beam overhead. You swear one winked at you. It's not exactly sanitary, but you're grateful for them. The goat's milk is thin, but better than nothing. The eggs? Priceless. You collect one carefully. Your mother checks it for cracks before setting it aside. That egg might be dinner, or tomorrow's breakfast. You hear the wind outside. It rattles the shutters. Rain drips from the thatch, finding a crack and landing square on your forehead. You wipe it away, annoyed. Your father grunts, "Need to patch that?" But he doesn't move. He's too busy sharpening the hoe. Your mother hums as she stirs the stew. It's a tuneless sound, but comforting. She's done it every day you can remember. You grab a broom, a bundle of sticks tied with rope, and sweep the dirt floor. It's a joke. All you do is rearrange the dirt. But your mother says it keeps the fleas down. You scratch your ankle. She gives you a look. "Don't encourage them," she says. You roll your eyes but stop scratching. Your brother feeds the goat. It eyes him suspiciously. Animals are family here, even if they smell worse than you do. Nighttime is the worst. When the fire burns low, the cold creeps in. Your breath fogs in the air. You huddle under your cloak, which is more holes than fabric. Your mother tries to cover the baby with extra rags. Everyone's so close you can hear every breath, every rustle. Privacy doesn't exist. Want to pick your nose? Everyone will see. Want to whisper secrets? Good luck. Your father snores. Loudly. It's like a bear has taken up residence. Your mother elbows him when it gets too bad. He grumbles but turns over. Your brother talks in his sleep. Once he yelled something about running away. Your mother hushed him even then. You listen to the wind howling through the gaps in the wall. The daub has cracked in places. You stuffed it with straw, but it's not enough. Your mother once dreamed of adding a second room. A small space for the girls to sleep at least. But dreams cost money. And money doesn't live here. You all sleep in the same space. Babies, parents, siblings. Animals sometimes, if it's cold enough. The goats come in on freezing nights, steaming in the darkness, eyes glowing like the devil. You got used to the smell. Sort of. Historians still argue whether this closeness built stronger family bonds or just made everyone miserable. You think it's both. You love your family, but you'd give anything for a moment alone. You turn over on the straw, feeling something sharp jab your hip, a piece of old thatch, a rock, who knows? You pull it out and toss it aside. Your sister mumbles and snuggles closer. She's warm. That's something. Your mother prays softly. You can't hear all the words, but you know the gist. Keep us safe. Keep us fed. Don't let the baby die. It's not poetry, but it's real. The fire pops loudly. Sparks fly up. Your father jerks awake, ready to stomp out anything that catches. You lie back down, breathing in the smoky warmth. Your eyes sting. Your mother's voice is softer now. She hums again like when you were a baby. You close your eyes, but even sleep isn't private. You dream of walking into the forest alone, away from everyone. Just you, just silence. But then you remember the wolves, the bandits, the cold. So even in dreams, you turn back. You wake with your sister's foot in your ribs. You push her gently. She grunts and rolls over. The fire's gone to embers again. Smoke curls lazily. Your father's already up. Come on, he says. Work won't wait. You groan, sit up, scratch your scalp, feel something crawl. Your mother's voice cuts through the gloom. Don't kill it on the bedding, she says. We sleep there. You flick the bug into the fire instead. It sizzles. Everyone pretends not to watch. You stand, stretch, feel your back pop. At your age, you help your mother scoop out the pot, the same stew as yesterday. As always, she adds water, stirs. Your brother grabs the hoe. Your father tightens his belt. You push open the door. Cold air rushes in, bracing, real. You take a deep breath of the smoky room behind you, and you step outside, ready to do it all again. Because there's no other choice. You step outside and immediately feel the wind cut through your threadbare tunic. It's cold enough to bite. You pull your cloak tighter around you, but it's no match for the chill. The mud squelches underfoot, slippery and treacherous. You catch yourself before falling, shooting a glare at the offending puddle as if it did it on purpose. Your father's already ahead, trudging toward the fields with the resigned shuffle of a man who knows exactly how long the day will be. He doesn't look back to see if you're following. He doesn't need to. You're coming. You always come. The field looks even bleaker than yesterday. The soil is clumped, reluctant to give up its secrets. You take your place next to your brother, hoe in hand, and start breaking the earth. It's mindless work, the kind that leaves your thoughts free to wander, if you're careful. But you try not to think too much about the hunger gnawing at your belly, or the sore on your heel that's going to make today even longer. You glance at your brother. He's thinner this year. Everyone is. Last year's harvest was bad. Too much rain rotted the grain. Mold crept through the stored sacks like a silent killer. You remember the taste. Bitter. Rum. But you ate it anyway. Because you had to. Your father's voice cuts through the wind. Keep at it. He doesn't need to say more. Lunch is more of an idea than a meal. A scrap of bread you gnaw slowly, pretending it's filling. Your mother hands you an onion to share with your brother. You split it with a dirty knife. It's sharp enough to do the job, but nicked from years of use on everything from wood to meat to rope. You wipe the blade on your tunic and hand it back. Hygiene isn't even a concept you have words for. It's just life. Your brother jokes, the onion will keep the plague away. You both laugh, even though it's not funny. The plague is always somewhere, waiting. Historians still argue whether medieval people understood how disease spread. But you know what you've heard. Bad air, curses, God's wrath. Or maybe it's just fate. You look at your mother. She's older than her years, lines etched deep from worry and cold. She's watching the sky, lips pressed thin. She knows the signs. Too many clouds, or not enough. There's no good weather. You scrape at the earth with your hoe, blisters on your palms reopening. The blood mixes with dirt until you can't tell them apart. You don't stop. You can't. The village path winds between fields. You see other families working just as hard. No one waves. There's no time. Your father finally calls it. You drag yourself back to the hut, legs like lead. Inside, it's smoky and close. The fire burns low, too precious to waste on heat alone. It has to cook the stew, after all. Your mother stirs the pot, adding a little water to stretch it further. It's already so thin you can see the bottom. She catches you watching and sighs. Better than nothing. You nod. It's true. Dinner is quiet. The only sound is the scraping of wooden spoons against clay bowls. Your brother tries to lighten the mood. At least there's no rat in it this time. Your father glares at him. It's not a joke everyone appreciates. You did have to chase a rat out of the pot once. Your mother screamed, your father cursed, and your brother laughed until your father hit him. The wind howls outside, rattling the shutters. They're just wooden boards, nailed on crooked. They let in drafts that make the flame shudder. Your sister huddles closer to the fire. She's pale, coughing wetly. Your mother dips a rag in the stew and tries to get her to sip it. She refuses, turning away with a whimper. You watch, heart heavy. There's no doctor, no apothecary, just your mother's prayers. Your father clears his throat. Eat, he says. You obey. Afterward, you help clean, which is generous. You lick your bowl clean and stack it with the others. Water is too precious to waste on scrubbing. Boiling tomorrow's stew in it will kill anything left, right? You lie down on the straw. It's flattened and musty, but it's better than the cold dirt floor. You pull your cloak over you, careful not to jostle your sister. She's already asleep, breathing raggedly. Your mother says a prayer, voice low. You can't catch all the words. You hear mercy, though. That one's always there. Your father stares into the fire, silent. You listen to the wind, the crackle of flame, your sister's cough. Your brother shifts beside you. Do you think we'll eat better next year? He whispers. You don't answer, because you don't want to lie. Historians still argue whether peasants ever felt hope. You know you do. You have to. Even if it's a lie, you tell yourself to keep going. Your eyes drift shut. The straw pokes your skin. The smoke burns your nose. You dream of green fields, of tables laden with food, of clean water, of warm clothes. You know you'll wake up to none of it. But you dream anyway, because there's nothing else to do. The fire pops, sending a shower of sparks into the gloom. Your father moves to tamp them down, careful, deliberate. Your mother hums, a tuneless song meant to calm. Your brother fidgets, scratching at his scalp. Fleas scatter. Your sister sighs, voice thin. You pull her closer. You all breathe the same smoky air, sleep on the same straw, dream the same impossible dreams. Outside, the wind howls. The shutters groan. Inside you sleep, because tomorrow you'll do it all again. Because you have no choice. Because you want to live, even like this. You wake to the sound of the church bell in the distance. It's Sunday, supposedly a day of rest. Your father calls it the Lord's Day, but you know better. It's the day the priest tells you exactly what God thinks of you, and you're pretty sure it's not good. Your mother makes you wash. Not a real bath, of course. She heats a little water over the fire, just enough to dab at your face and hands. She scrubs behind your ears until the skin is raw. You protest, but she silences you with a look. You want Father Ambrose to see you filthy? You want to say yes, because you are filthy. So is everyone else. But you hold your tongue. Your sister is too sick to go. She lies on the straw, eyes half closed, breathing in raspy wheezes. Your mother gives her the last of the goat's milk, forcing it between her lips. It dribbles down her chin. Your father doesn't say anything. He just tightens his belt and waits by the door. You walk to church in a ragged procession. The path is muddy, rutted by carts. Your feet sink, icy water seeping through the cracks in your shoes. The wind bites at your cheeks. You pass other families doing the same. No one smiles. The church is the only stone building for miles. It's squat and ugly, with a roof that leaks less than your hut's. But it's impressive, towering over the fields like a warning. Inside, it's freezing. The stone floor saps heat from your feet. The walls are damp. Smoke from cheap tallow candles coils in the air, making your eyes water even more than the hearth at home. You sit on a rough bench. No pew cushions here. Your mother folds her hands. Your father stares straight ahead. Father Ambrose mounts the pulpit. His voice booms. He preaches about sin, about hellfire, about how God sees everything you do. He warns you not to steal, not to lie, not to shirk your duties. You feel small under his gaze, even though he's not looking directly at you. Your brother fidgets beside you. Your mother squeezes his arm. Be still. Father Ambrose talks about the last judgment, about the fires of hell. You shift uncomfortably. You know fire. It burns. It devours. You don't want to imagine it licking at your feet forever. He says you're lucky to be born poor. Lucky to suffer. Because suffering here means reward in heaven. Your father nods solemnly. Your mother's lips move in silent prayer. You try to believe it, but you're cold, hungry, tired. You wonder if God really cares. The service drags on. Father Ambrose thunders about the importance of tithes, about supporting the church, about giving what little you have. Your father has a coin in his palm. He hesitates. It's the last one. You know that, but he drops it into the collection plate anyway. Your mother closes her eyes. Historians still argue whether medieval peasants were deeply devout or just terrified. You know it's both. Afterward, you shuffle outside with the others. The wind hits you like a slap. You pull your cloak tighter. Your brother mutters under his breath. If God loves us so much, why are we starving? Your father cuffs him. Not hard, just enough. Don't say that. Your brother rubs his head, sulking. You head home in silence. The hut seems smaller after church, dirtier, smokier. You sit on the straw, staring at the fire. Your sister is no better. Your mother sits beside her, wiping her forehead with a damp rag. Your father paces. He stops and kneels by the fire, bows his head. He prays out loud. Words you've heard 1,000 times. Words that feel empty, but you repeat them anyway, because you don't know what else to do. Dinner is thinner than usual. Your mother stretches the stew so far it's basically flavored water. No one complains. Complaining won't fill your belly. Your father thanks God for the meal. You echo him. You don't mean it. The wind howls outside. The shutter bangs. Your father stands and wedges it shut with a piece of wood. Your mother hums, a low, broken sound. Your brother pokes the fire with a stick. Sparks swirl up into the gloom. Stop that, your father says. Your brother drops the stick. You scratch your scalp, wincing at the bites. Fleas scatter. Your mother shoots you a look. Not at dinner. You mumble an apology. The fire burns low. You watch it, eyes heavy. Your sister whimpers. Your mother shushes her, rocking her gently. Your father stands slowly. His knees pop. He winces. He's not old, but he's worn out. He sits beside your mother, puts a hand on her back. They don't say anything. They don't have to. You lie down on the straw, curling into a ball. Your cloak is thin, but it's all you have. Your brother lies beside you, close enough that you share heat. You hate it. You love it. Your sister coughs weakly. Your mother wipes her mouth. Your father stares into the fire. You listen to the wind. You pray because that's all you can do. The next morning breaks gray and cold. You know immediately something's wrong by the hush in the room. The fire is dead out, the air colder than usual. Your mother's crouched beside your sister, one hand resting on her still chest. Your father stands stiff by the door, face carved from stone. No one says anything for a moment. Even the goat in the corner seems quiet. You swallow hard. Your sister's eyes don't flutter open like they usually do. She doesn't cough. She doesn't squirm or complain about the cold. Your mother closes her eyelids gently. Your brother makes a choking sound, turns away. You stay very still. You know you're supposed to feel something. You do, but it's buried under layers of tiredness and fear and hunger. Your mother rocks back on her heels. Her hands are shaking. Your father clears his throat. Get dressed. His voice is hoarse. You obey without thinking. You pull on the same scratchy tunic, ignoring the lice that skitter away as you move. Your brother sniffles. Breakfast is a formality. Stale bread dunked in water, chewed in silence. No one talks. Your mother doesn't eat. Your father stares at the hearth. It's dead cold, ashes gray. He finally moves. We have to tell Father Ambrose. Your mother nods once, face pale. Your brother opens his mouth like he wants to argue, but no words come out. You go outside together, leaving the hut behind you. The air bites, sharp and clean in a way that feels cruel. You trudge toward the church. The path is muddy, sucking at your feet. Your father carries her, wrapped in the cloak that was supposed to keep her warm. She looks smaller now. No one stops you. No one says anything. They just watch. They know. At the church, Father Ambrose meets you at the door. His face is solemn. He doesn't seem surprised. He's seen this too many times. He gestures you inside. The cold stone walls feel like a tomb. Your father lays her on a bench. Father Ambrose says a prayer in Latin you don't understand. Your mother mouths the words anyway. He sprinkles water from a cracked clay bowl. Holy water. Supposedly. Your brother leans against the wall, head down. You stand beside him, fingers digging into your palms. Historians still argue whether medieval people were truly afraid of hell or used it to control each other. But you're afraid, terrified that she's gone somewhere dark. That you will too. Father Ambrose finishes. He looks at your father. You'll bury her today? Your father nods. Your mother's mouth trembles. She doesn't cry. She's used up her tears on other graves. Father Ambrose says nothing more. He's already thinking about the next funeral. You carry her back home. The grave is dug in the corner of the field. The ground is hard, frozen in places. You and your brother take turns with the shovel. Your palms blister again, cracks reopening from yesterday's work. Your father says nothing. He just digs. Your mother sits on a rock, holding her head. You lay her in the hole, wrapped in the same cloak she slept in. There's no coffin, no marker, just a mound of dirt you scrape over her. Your father says a prayer, voice shaking. Your mother can't speak. You don't look away. You force yourself to watch, because someone has to. Afterward, you sit by the grave. The wind rattles the hedges. Birds wheel overhead, cawing like they're mocking you. Your brother finally speaks. She was so small. You nod. Your father stands. His shadow falls over you both. Come on. You go back to the hut. Inside, it's worse. The empty space on the straw. The pot bubbling over the fire as if nothing happened. Your mother stirs it mechanically. She adds water. Always water. Your father sits, rubbing his temples. Dinner is silent. The same stew, the same bread. It tastes like ashes. Your brother doesn't eat. He just pushes it around. Your mother finally breaks. Her spoon clatters to the floor. She buries her face in her hands and sobs, shoulders shaking. Your father doesn't move. He just stares at the fire. You sit there, listening. You want to say something, anything, but you don't know how. Outside, the wind howls like it's alive. The shutters bang. Your brother gets up suddenly and kicks the wall. The daub cracks. Mud crumbles. Your father doesn't yell. Your mother sobs slow. Turn to hiccups, then silence. She wipes her face with her sleeve. Picks up the spoon. Starts stirring again. Because there's nothing else to do. You lie down early. You don't want to be awake. The straw feels harder than ever. Every rustle is loud in the silence. Your brother lies beside you, eyes open. You know he's not sleeping. Your mother's breathing is ragged. Your father feeds the fire one last log. He watches the flames like they're going to tell him something. You close your eyes. You dream of her. Running in the field, laughing, alive. You wake up gasping. The hut is dark, the fire's out. Your mother is awake, you can hear her praying. Your father is snoring. Your brother turns over, mumbling. You lie there, eyes wide, listening, breathing, alive, barely. Because that's all there is. The next morning, your mother doesn't speak. She moves through the motions like a ghost. She pokes at the embers until they glow, adds wood sparingly, stirs the same stew pot with mechanical precision. She doesn't look at anyone. Your father tells you and your brother to help in the fields. His voice is flat. You obey without question. There's nothing else to do. Outside, the air is damp. Mist clings to everything, beating on your hair, soaking into your already soggy shoes. The ground is slick. You nearly fall twice before you plant your feet wider. Your brother says nothing. He just works, hoe in hand, slamming it into the reluctant soil. Over and over. It's a rhythm, a prayer, a curse. The only sound is the scrape of metal on dirt and the wet breathing of the wind. You don't know how long you work before your father calls a break. You sit on your haunches, panting, watching your breath fog in the chill. Your father chews a piece of stale bread and hands you half. You take it without thanks. Gratitude seems obscene right now. He doesn't talk about her. No one does. You know there's no marker on her grave, no headstone, just a hump of dirt. Over time, the wind and rain will flatten it. It'll become just another part of the field. You try not to think about that. You work until your arms burn and your palms split and bleed. Your brother says nothing about it. Neither do you. Historians still argue whether medieval peasants loved their children as we do. You think they did. They just had to keep moving. When the sun starts to sink, your father jerks his head toward home. You follow without complaint. Inside it's warmer at least. The fire burns low but steady. Your mother stirs the pot. She's added a scrap of turnip she found, sliced thin to make it seem like more. She ladles it out without a word. You eat in silence. Afterward, you sit by the fire. No one talks. Your brother eventually asks the question you've both been avoiding. Am I going to have to marry soon? Your father doesn't look at him. He stares at the flames. Probably. Your brother goes pale. He's not much older than you. 14, maybe. He doesn't want to, but he knows he'll have to. Marriage isn't about love. It's about survival. It's about making sure there are more hands to work the land. Your father finally speaks. There's a girl in the next village. Her father's thinking about it. Your brother gulps. I don't even know her. Your father grunts. Doesn't matter. Your mother's voice is hoarse when she finally speaks. She's healthy? Your father shrugs. Strong enough. That's all that matters. You sit very still, listening. Marriage isn't romance. It's an alliance, a business deal. Your brother will take on her family's debts, maybe share tools or animals. In exchange, he'll have someone to bear children. Lots of children. As many as survive. Your mother looks into the fire. You know she's thinking of the ones she lost. Historians still argue whether medieval women had any say in marriage. Maybe sometimes. But not here. Your brother slumps. I don't want to. Your father doesn't react. You don't blame your brother. He knows what comes next. Betrothal as young as 14, sometimes earlier. Babies soon after. Risky births. High chance of dying in childbed. You think of your sister and shiver. Your mother breaks the silence. Eat. You obey. After dinner, your father pulls out the small wooden box he keeps hidden. Inside is a silver coin, his life's savings, maybe enough for a dowry. He turns it over in his fingers. The firelight glints off it. Your mother watches, eyes hollow. You know what she's thinking. That coin might have saved your sister, paid for a healer, bought better food, but it didn't. And now it will buy a wife for your brother. Your brother watches it too, eyes wide. He opens his mouth, then closes it. He knows he doesn't get a choice. You're next. When you're old enough, your mother finally sighs. We'll talk to them next market day. Your brother nods miserably. You lie down on the straw, pulling your cloak over you. You can feel the lice moving, but you're too tired to care. Your brother lies beside you. He doesn't speak. You listen to the wind outside, rattling the shutters. Your father pokes the fire until it sparks, then lets it die back. Your mother hums, a tuneless sound. You close your eyes. You dream of running away, but you know you won't, because you can't, because you're needed here, because the land owns you as much as the Lord does. Your father breathes heavily. Your mother wipes at her eyes. Your brother turns over, pulling the cloak tighter. You sigh. Sleep eventually comes, but it's not restful. It's filled with the cries of babies you'll never know, the stink of blood and straw, the sound of the wind in the churchyard over unmarked graves. You wake once in the night. Your mother's awake too. She's praying softly. You pretend not to hear. You close your eyes and try to dream of something better, even if you don't believe in it anymore. You wake before dawn again. There's no choice. Work doesn't wait for morning. Your father stands at the door, silhouetted by the pale light leaking through the cracks. He gives you one look, tired, hard, and you haul yourself up from the straw. Your brother follows without a word. He's quieter than ever now, weighed down by the thought of his upcoming marriage. He doesn't complain. Complaining is for people who think they can change something. Breakfast is the usual stale bread, softened in water. Your mother doesn't even pretend to make it special. She just sets it in front of you and turns back to the hearth. The smoke curls up lazily, filling the room with its sour smell. Your father eats in silence. When he's done, he wipes his mouth with the back of his hand and stands. Come on. You go. Outside, the path is slick with mud. It's always mud this time of year. The road isn't really a road. It's a suggestion of direction, churned up by carts and feet and hooves. Travel is rare, dangerous. No one goes anywhere without reason. There's nowhere to go anyway. Your brother used to talk about running away to the city. You both laughed about it once, imagining the towers and streets full of merchants. But then you heard about bandits who roam the roads like wolves, and worse, you've seen the results. Once a merchant's cart limped into the village with half its goods missing, and the driver slumped over, bleeding from a gash on his head. The villagers helped him as best they could, bandaging him, feeding his horse. But everyone whispered, "Lucky they didn't kill him." Your father spat in the dirt. "Lucky they didn't burn the cart and take everything," someone else added. So no, you don't dream much about travel anymore. Today, you're helping your father repair the fence around the field. The wood is splintered, half-rotted. You don't have nails for repairs, just rope and ingenuity. You lash the poles together as best you can. The rope bites your fingers. Your brother holds the post steady, jaw tight. Your father mutters curses about the boars. They come in the night, rooting and trampling the crops. You once saw one, big as a small cow, eyes glinting in the moonlight. It snorted at you before crashing off into the brush. You don't want to meet it again. Your mother brings lunch to the edge of the field. A scrap of bread, a strip of dried turnip, and thin milk from the goat. You thank her out of habit, even though you wish there was more. She doesn't answer, just looks at you with sunken eyes and walks back. Your father watches her go. He doesn't say anything. Historians still argue whether medieval travel was common or rare. You know the answer. It's rare because it's suicidal. Bandits, wild animals, disease, and no guarantee you'll find anything better at the end of the road. Your brother speaks up as you eat. "Do you think they'll have me travel for the wedding?" Your father snorts. 2 villages over. That's it. Your brother doesn't look relieved. You finish eating quickly and get back to work. By late afternoon, the fence is barely holding together. Your father looks at it critically. "It'll have to do," which is what he says about everything. You walk home along the muddy path. The sky is gray, heavy with clouds. Your brother slips once, falling to his knees. He curses, wipes the mud off on his tunic. Your father doesn't help him up. "Get moving," because you can't stop. At home, the fire is low. Your mother is feeding it carefully, using the last of the good kindling. The rest is damp. She stirs the pot with a stick. The stew smells the same as always. Dinner is quiet. Your brother asks about the girl he's supposed to marry. Your father shrugs. "Strong enough to bear children." Your brother's face twists. You say nothing. You know your turn will come eventually. You'll be matched with someone you don't know. You'll share the same straw bed, the same lice, the same hopeless prayers. Rahas. You'll have children and bury some of them, because that's life. Your mother sets her spoon down. "We'll talk to them at market day." Your brother flinches. You want to comfort him, but you don't know how. You scrape your bowl clean with your finger. You don't waste anything. After dinner, your father checks the door. He wedges it shut with a piece of wood. No lock. Just hope that no one will bother you. But you know they could. Bandits don't usually come here. Nothing worth stealing. But you've heard stories. A village burned to the ground for the sheer spite of it. Women dragged away. Men killed or left for dead. You try not to think about it. Your brother lies down beside you, muttering curses into the straw. You ignore him. Your mother hums, but it's not a song. It's just a sound to fill the awful silence. Your father pokes the fire with his iron rod. Sparks jump and fade. You close your eyes. Outside, the wind picks up. The shutters bang. You hear something howl in the distance. A wolf? A dog? You pull your cloak tighter. Your mother's voice breaks once, a sob she tries to swallow. No one mentions it. Your brother is already snoring, fitful, uneasy. Your father finally lies down. You wait until his breathing evens out before you let your own tears come. They're silent, hot, angry, but you don't wipe them away, because no one can see you in the dark. You wake coughing again, the smoke thick as soup. The fire's burned low in the night, but it never goes completely out. That would be dangerous. Fire is life. Without it, you can't cook, you can't keep warm, you can't keep the night at bay. Your mother is already stirring the pot. She moves mechanically, like she's half asleep. She's mumbling a prayer under her breath. God, grant us enough. You're not sure he's listening. You scratch your arm. The bite marks from the fleas are red and angry. You try not to think about the lice moving in your hair. Your brother is picking at his scalp, too. It's just normal now. Breakfast is the same as ever. Stale bread dunked in thin milk. Your father eats quickly, not even tasting it. Your mother barely eats at all. She's saving her share. For you, she won't say it. But you know. Afterward, you're sent to gather herbs. Your mother says they'll help with the stew. You know that's only partly true. They're to cover the taste of rot if you have to throw in something that's gone bad. You wander the edges of the field, careful where you step. The ground is slick, the mud threatening to suck off your worn shoe. You know what to look for. Wild garlic, nettles, sorrel. The edible weeds. Your mother taught you well. You also know what not to pick. Bright berries that look tempting but will stop your heart. Mushrooms that promise a meal but give you visions before the end. Your father once told you about a neighbor who died that way, foaming at the mouth, body convulsing in the dirt. You keep your eyes sharp. Historians still argue about how much medieval medicine was knowledge versus superstition. For you, it's both. Your mother knows which herbs help with cough, which roots to boil for stomach aches, but she also says a prayer over them. Just in case. You pluck a handful of nettles, careful to avoid the sting as best you can. Your fingers burn anyway. You hiss, but keep going. You hear a bird call in the trees. It sounds lonely. When you return to the hut, your mother nods. She takes the bundle from you, fingers deft even though they're cracked and raw. She tosses them into the pot. Steam rises. It smells better. Not good, just better. Your brother is sharpening the hoe outside with a piece of rough stone. It screeches with every stroke. You wince at the sound. Your father is patching the roof again. The last storm opened another hole. He's muttering curses as he works, balancing on the beams like an old cat. You know he's too old for this, but there's no one else. You go to help, holding the boards, passing the twine. He doesn't thank you, but you see the relief in his eyes. You hear voices in the distance. Travelers. Your father stiffens, he peers down the road. Keep quiet. You freeze. Watch. It's a small group. 2 men leading a donkey piled with sacks. They look rough, dirty even by your standards. They don't glance at your hut. Don't stop. Your father waits until they're gone. Bandits, he mutters. You swallow hard. They're always a threat, even if they're not killing anyone today. They're why you don't travel unless you have to. Why the Lord's men carry swords. Your father finishes the patch. He climbs down slowly, knees cracking. He wipes sweat from his brow with the back of his hand. Inside. You don't argue. The hut is dark and close. The smoke stings your eyes. Your mother is stirring the pot. She glances at the door when you enter, relief flickering across her face. Dinner is the same stew, flavored now with nettles and garlic. You eat slowly, savoring the small bite of green. Your brother cracks a joke about it being fancy now. You manage a small smile. Your father doesn't. After dinner, your mother brings out her little pouch. Inside are a few withered roots, dried herbs, and a precious scrap of linen. She's saving it for when you're sick. She taught you once about bloodletting. If you're very sick, sometimes it helps. You asked how. She didn't really know. She just said, the priest says it works. Historians still argue whether it did any good at all. You don't want to find out. Your father once paid a traveling barber to look at your brother's infected foot. The man cut it open with a rusty blade, poured something that smelled like vinegar on it. Your brother screamed until he was hoarse. It got better, though. Sort of. He limps now, but he's alive. That's enough. Your mother teaches you to make a poultice, crushed herbs mixed with fat. You smear it on burns, bites. It works sometimes. Other times it does nothing. She prays over it anyway. You once asked the priest why people get sick. God's punishment, he said. You didn't ask again. Tonight, after dinner, your mother makes you chew a bitter root. She says it'll keep you healthy. It tastes like dirt and old shoes. You gag, but swallow it. She nods approvingly. Your brother refuses. She cuffs his ear lightly. You want to die in the field? He grumbles but chews it anyway. Your father watches the fire. He doesn't interfere. Outside, the wind rises, the shutters rattle. Your mother pulls the cloak tighter around her shoulders. She hums softly. It's not a song you know, just a low, worried sound. Your brother lies down on the straw. He picks at a flea, flicks it into the fire. You lie beside him. You scratch too. Your mother finishes her hum. She sighs. Your father pokes the embers with the iron rod until they flare. He watches them like they're going to answer his questions. They don't. You close your eyes. You try not to think about sickness, about the way your sister's chest rattled. You try to forget the taste of the root in your mouth. You dream of clean water, of bright herbs growing in neat rows, of someone who actually knows how to help. But you know that's not here. You know it's not for you, because you're not important. You're just another body in the dirt. And if you get sick, well, you'll join the others under the unmarked mound. You wake to the sound of laughter outside. It's strange, unfamiliar. You lie there a moment, blinking in the smoky gloom of the hut, trying to make sense of it. Your brother is already up, pulling on his patched tunic. He hears it too. He gives you a look. Market day, he says. You nod slowly. Market day isn't really a holiday, but it's the closest you get to one. It's the day people gather, trade, gossip, tell stories, even laugh. Your father is already at the door, checking the sky. It's gray, of course, but at least not raining yet. He grunts at you both to hurry. Your mother is ladling out a thin porridge. She's even added a bit of milk. A luxury. You eat it carefully, licking the bowl when you're done. You're not about to waste a single drop. Then you pull on your cloak, such as it is. The wind cuts right through it, but it's better than nothing. You follow your father and brother down the muddy track toward the village center. People are gathered already. Stalls set up with whatever anyone has to offer. Turnips, salt fish, worn-out tools, rough pottery. You see the traveling peddler there too, his cart piled high with goods. Cheap knives, colored ribbons, even a battered lute missing a string. He calls out to people in a sing-song voice. Best bargains in the county. Don't miss your chance. You roll your eyes but watch anyway. He's entertaining. Your brother elbows you. He'll sell you a pig's ear and swear it's silver. You snort. Your father ignores you both. He's focused on a sack of barley. The farmer selling it weighs it carefully, eyeing your father's coin with suspicion. They haggle. Quiet, tense. Every penny counts. Your brother wanders toward the peddler's cart. You follow. The peddler spots you both and grins. He has blackened teeth but a friendly enough face. Ah, my favorite customers. Come to buy your future wives some ribbons? Your brother flushes red. You laugh. The peddler winks. Or maybe you need a fine new knife? Cut through anything except your debts. Your brother mumbles something and walks away. The peddler turns to you. Got stories too. Want one? You hesitate, then nod. He leans in conspiratorially. Once, far south of here, there's a city where the streets are lined with stone. No mud, no straw, just smooth, hard stone. And they have lamps that burn oil so the streets are bright all night. No one trips, no one falls. And the food? Oh lad, the food. Spices from lands so far away you'd fall off the edge of the world trying to reach them. You stare, wide-eyed. Your father calls you back sharply. You run. You're not buying anything, not today. But you watch everything carefully. Your mother is there too. She's looking at the ribbon stall. Her fingers hover over the bright colors. She sighs and pulls her hand back. Too expensive. Your father finishes his deal. One small sack of barley. He carries it like it's treasure. As you walk home, your brother mutters about the peddler's stories. All lies. You shrug. Still nice to hear. He doesn't argue. You pass the alehouse on the way back. It's the biggest building in the village, aside from the church. The door swings open and raucous laughter spills out. Men inside shout over each other. Someone's playing a fiddle, wildly out of tune. You hear a joke that makes your ears burn. Your father glances at it, face like stone. He doesn't approve. But you watch anyway. You see old Tom staggering outside, nearly falling into the mud. He wipes his mouth on his sleeve and belches. Your brother snickers. Tom glares, but he's too drunk to say anything. The alehouse is where people tell stories, jokes, gossip. Sometimes they fight. Once you saw someone get their nose broken for calling another man's wife a goat. Your father says alehouses are dens of sin. Your mother says they're necessary. Historians still argue whether they were vital community hubs or moral disasters. You think they're both. You get home before dark. Your mother sets the barley carefully in the corner. She's already thinking about how to make it last. Dinner is the same stew. But tonight she adds a little extra barley. It thickens it. Feels heavier in your belly. Your brother sighs in relief. Afterward, your father lets the fire burn a little brighter. Just for tonight. Your mother hums a tune she heard at the market. Your brother actually laughs at one of your jokes. You even smile. Because for all its filth, its danger, its hunger, there's something about being here together. You remember the peddler's story. Streets of stone, lamps that burn all night, food that smells like dreams. You know it's probably a lie. But you let yourself picture it anyway. Your father eventually says enough. He banks the fire carefully. You lie down on the straw. You pull your cloak over you. Your brother grumbles about fleas. You smack one off your leg. Your mother sighs. Your father clears his throat like he's about to say something. Then doesn't. Silence falls. You close your eyes. You hear the wind outside. The shutters creak. Your mother hums once more, softer now. You drift off thinking of stone streets and warm bread and laughter that isn't forced. Dreaming? Always dreaming. Because that's the only place those things are real. You wake to shouting outside. Not the usual squabbles over goats or fences, but real fear. Your father jerks upright so fast he knocks the embers from the hearth. Sparks fly, biting your bare feet as you scramble up. Your mother is already pulling on her cloak, eyes wide. Your brother curses under his breath. He grabs the hoe from the corner like it's a weapon. You push open the door. Smoke. Not hearth smoke, but black, greasy, rising over the village in fat columns. You hear a woman screaming, men shouting orders, the clash of metal. Your father swears and shoves you back inside. Stay down. Stay quiet. Your mother's breathing is ragged. She pulls you and your brother into the darkest corner of the hut. The smoke outside is getting thicker. The smell of burning thatch hits you, making your eyes water. Your father grips the hoe tighter. He opens the door a crack to look out, just enough to see. Your brother whispers, "Is it bandits?" Your mother clamps a hand over his mouth. Outside, a man yells in a guttural accent you don't recognize. Another voice pleads. Then a scream. You bite your knuckles to keep from making a sound. Your father closes the door, face pale. They're taking livestock, burning the fields. Your mother's face crumples. You hear them outside your door now. Heavy boots squelching in the mud, laughing. A crash as someone kicks in a neighbor's door. A child wails. Your brother is shaking. Historians still argue whether medieval raids were constant or just a fear people used to control each other. Right now, you know the answer. It's real. You hold your breath as the footsteps pause outside your door. You see your father raise the hoe like it'll do any good against swords. You hear muttering, then laughter. Then they move on. You exhale so hard you feel dizzy. Your mother starts to sob. She slaps her own mouth to stifle it. Your father drops the hoe, sits down heavily. They're moving on. Your brother doesn't unclench his fists. His knuckles are white. You wait, listening. The shouting fades. The smell of smoke lingers. When it's finally quiet, your father opens the door slowly. You follow him out. The village looks like hell. 3 huts are burning. Flames licking at the thatch. People scramble to throw water from cracked pots. One man lies in the mud, unmoving. Blood seeps into the puddles around him. Your father curses again. Your mother wraps an arm around you, pulling you close. You see a woman kneeling in front of a pig pen, wailing. The pigs are gone, the pens smashed. Your brother walks stiffly to the edge of the field. The fence you worked so hard to mend is torn apart, trampled. Your father helps a neighbor douse a fire on their roof. The water sizzles and steams. You stand there, shivering, watching. Later, when the fires are out, everyone gathers in the muddy path. Father Ambrose arrives, cloak flapping, face stern. He raises his hands. God tests us, he says. Your mother looks like she wants to scream. God tests us, he repeats. But we endure. We must endure. Your father's jaw tightens. Your brother spits in the mud. You just feel empty. You walk home slowly. Your hut is standing. That's something. The door is cracked, but it still closes. Inside, the smoke from the hearth seems friendly now compared to the smell outside. Your mother sits heavily on the bench. She rubs her eyes. Your father drops the hoe by the door. Your brother kicks the wall once, then slumps to the floor. No one says anything for a long time. Dinner is quiet, just thin stew again. You eat it mechanically. Your brother breaks first. We should have fought them. Your father doesn't look up. With what? With anything. Your father slams his spoon down. And died? Left your mother and your brother to starve? That's what you want. Your brother's mouth works soundlessly. Then he drops his head. Your mother's eyes are wet, but she doesn't cry. You stare at the fire. Historians still argue whether feudal lords protected their peasants or exploited them. Where was the lord tonight? Safe behind stone walls. You eat the last bite of stew. It's cold. Your father thanks God anyway. Your mother whispers amen. Your brother doesn't say anything. You lie down on the straw later. The smell of smoke is in everything. Your clothes, your hair, your skin. You hear the wind outside. It feels sharper, cruel. Your brother tosses and turns. You can't sleep. You remember the screaming, the smell of burning thatch, the look on your father's face. You close your eyes, trying to imagine the peddler's story. Streets of stone, warm lamps, food that never runs out. But all you see is fire. All you hear is crying. You roll over. Your mother hums softly. It sounds like a lullaby, but it's cracked, broken. Your father is already snoring, or pretending to. Your brother wipes his nose on his sleeve. You say nothing, because there's nothing left to say. You just breathe, one breath at a time, because that's all you can do. You're woken early the next day by the sound of your father counting. Not coins. There aren't enough of those to bother counting. He's measuring the grain. Again. Your mother watches, arms folded. She's drawn tight as a bowstring. She doesn't interrupt. She's waiting for the verdict she already knows. Your father's voice is low, dangerous. It's not enough. Your brother sits on the straw, picking at a flea on his ankle. He doesn't look up. You scratch at your collar, feeling the bite marks from last night's feast of insects. Your father slams the lid on the grain chest. Dust puffs up. He coughs. It's not enough, he repeats. Your mother sighs. We knew that. He glares at her, but the fight leaves him before it starts. He slumps onto the bench, elbows on his knees. You stay quiet. You know better than to speak right now. Your brother finally mutters, "What about the tithe?" Your father's head jerks up. He stares at him like he's sprouted horns. What about it? Your brother picks up the straw. We don't pay. Your father's face darkens. You want to see what happens if we don't pay? Silence. You all know. You remember last year, old Watt refused, said he wouldn't give another bushel to the priest or the Lord Steward. They came with 2 men-at-arms, beat him in front of everyone. He couldn't walk for a month, and they still took the grain. Your mother closes her eyes. It's not a choice. Your brother mutters something under his breath. Your father doesn't ask him to repeat it. Historians still argue whether medieval peasants were taxed to starvation or simply contributed their share. You know what it feels like. It feels like robbery. Legal robbery. Your father finally stands. We'll set it aside. Your mother's jaw tightens, but she nods. You watch as they scoop the best grain into a sack. The biggest, cleanest kernels. The ones you should be eating. The ones that might have kept you all alive through the winter. Your stomach growls at the sight. Your brother stands abruptly and kicks the door open. He storms outside. Your father doesn't stop him. Your mother wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. You want to say something. Anything. But what is there to say? Later, you help load the sack onto the old donkey. It's stubborn. It doesn't want to go. Smart animal. Your father tugs its rope. It lurches forward, ears flat. You follow behind, feet squelching in the mud. The path to the manor is worn. Everyone walks it when it's time to pay. The mud is churned deep, full of old straw meant to keep it passable, but mostly making it worse. You nearly lose a shoe twice. The manor house rises in the distance. Stone, high walls, a roof that doesn't leak, chimneys, glass in the windows. Glass, you can't stop staring at it. Your father notices and grunts. Don't gawk. But you can't help it. It's like something from the peddler stories. When you reach the yard, you see others are already there. Lines of villagers with sacks, chickens, even a pig. You stand in line, shifting from foot to foot. No one talks. The steward waits by the door, ledger in hand. He's wearing a cloak that's cleaner than anything you own. His boots are black and shiny. He doesn't look happy. He never does. One by one, people go up. They spill out their grain. The steward pokes it with a stick, checking for stones or chaff. He weighs it with a set of iron scales. Short. You hear it again and again. Short. And the villager bows his head, mumbling apologies, offering a chicken to make up the difference. Your turn comes. Your father dumps the grain. It hits the scales with a hiss. The steward scowls. He pokes it, turns the scale weight. He grunts. Barely enough. Your father doesn't breathe. The steward makes a mark in his ledger. Go. Your father nods. He tugs you away. You don't look back. On the way home, your brother is waiting by the path. He sees the empty sack. His mouth twists. Hope they choke on it. Your father says nothing. You're all thinking the same thing. The grain you handed over means less bread, less porridge, less life. But you had no choice. Dinner is thin. Your mother scrapes the pot. She divides it carefully. Your brother pushes his bowl away. Not hungry. Your mother glares. You'll eat. He doesn't move. Your father doesn't intervene. He just stares into the fire. You eat your share. Slowly. It tastes like ashes. Afterward, you help your mother clean. You lick the bowl. You wipe it with a scrap of linen. Water is too precious to waste. The fire burns low. Your father finally speaks. Spring will be worse. Your mother says nothing. Your brother snorts. Good, maybe we'll all starve and save them the trouble. Your mother slaps him. Not hard, but enough. He glares at her. She doesn't apologize. Silence. Outside, the wind howls. You lie on the straw later, cloak over your shoulders. You pull it tighter, pretending it's thicker than it is. Your brother rolls over, facing the wall. Your mother hums. Your father snores. You don't sleep. You stare at the fire's dying glow, thinking about the grain, thinking about the steward's cold eyes, thinking about your empty belly, and you wonder how long you can keep giving before there's nothing left. The next day you wake with your face pressed into the straw, the itch of old bites waking you before the cold even registers. Your brother's already up, jabbing at the fire with the iron rod. Sparks spit angrily, flaring into the smoky gloom. Your mother is muttering to herself while she stirs the pot. No words you can make out, just that same low, frantic sound you've heard more and more lately. She doesn't notice you at first. She's too busy calculating how far nothing can stretch. Your father sits on the bench near the door, elbows on knees, staring through the wall like it's not there. Breakfast is the same. Stale bread, scraped with the last smear of rancid fat. Your mother rations it carefully, breaking pieces with precise fingers. She holds them in her palms like they're relics. You chew yours so slow it turns to paste. Your mouth waters at the memory of better meals, even though better was just slightly thicker porridge. Your brother doesn't even bother. He drops his crust into the bowl and pushes it away. Eat, your mother says automatically. No. Eat, she says again, voice cracking. He doesn't look at her. Your father doesn't intervene. He just keeps staring. After, you pull on your cloak and head out. No one tells you to. There's nothing to do inside but listen to the wind rattle the shutters. The fields are muddy and brown, still raw from last week's storm. You don't even bother pretending to work them right now. There's no seed to sow, no fertilizer but the thin droppings from your half-starved goat. You stand there, breathing hard. Your brother finally joins you. He's got the hoe over his shoulder, not using it, just carrying it like a badge of office he doesn't want. He kicks at a frozen clod. It breaks with a wet crack. Can't do this anymore, he mutters. You don't answer. He keeps talking anyway. Run away. Join a town. Be an apprentice. Anything. You stare at him. Where? Doing what? We don't know anything. He lifts the hoe and lets it fall to the dirt. Better than starving. You remember the stories about towns with paved streets, people who can read, markets that never close, but you remember the other stories too. About bands of thieves who roam the roads, who strip travelers bare and leave them for the crows. About city watchmen who don't care if a peasant starves in the gutter. About plague ships in the harbors, coughing up black death that seeps into the alleys. Historians still argue whether the cities really offered freedom. Your brother's face is hard. I don't care, he says. You don't answer. You just stand there, feeling the wind cut through your rags. Later, you go to check the traps you set in the hedgerow. A stupid hope. They're empty, of course. Even the rabbits know better than to be here. You find one trap broken. Your father mutters, "It was probably a fox." You know better. You know it was stolen. You try not to think about it too hard. When you get back to the hut, your mother's trying to patch a hole in the wall with mud and straw. She's shivering so hard she can't press it in properly. You help her, pressing the cold mess with numb fingers. It crumbles anyway. She sighs, wipes her hands on her skirt, leaving brown streaks. Your father says nothing. Dinner is an insult. Thin broth that tastes of nothing. A few nettles for color. Your brother doesn't touch it. Your father doesn't tell him to. Your mother tries to thank God anyway. Her voice catches halfway through. Silence fills the hut like a flood. After you lie down in the straw, your brother rolls to the wall again. Your father banks the fire until the embers glow like dying eyes. Your mother hums. You close your eyes, willing yourself to dream. Dreams of better things. You imagine what it would be like to be free, to walk wherever you want, to read a book, to own something that no one can take. You've heard about monks who copy books by hand, endless pages of black lines you can't even begin to decipher. You try to picture them, quiet, warm, safe behind stone walls, fed. Your father once said he thought of sending you to a monastery. They feed you there, teach you Latin. Your mother snorted, "They take your name." You didn't understand then. You do now. It's another kind of prison, but at least you'd eat. Your brother mutters in the dark. Should have let them kill me in the raid. Your mother hisses at him to stop. Your father doesn't move. You don't say anything, because you don't want to admit you thought the same thing. You're so tired. Your belly aches in that dull, familiar way. Your fingers sting with old cuts that never heal. Your feet are raw from the cold. Your scalp crawls with the constant motion of lice. You hear your mother whispering prayers. You try to listen. But you drift instead, into dreams of stone streets, warm bread, books, freedom. But even in dreams, you know it's a lie. Because you were born here, because this land owns you, because no one cares if you want more, because dreaming is all you're allowed to do. You wake before the sun. The hut is black as pitch, the air sharp with cold and the stale stink of too many bodies breathing the same smoke-heavy air. You don't want to move. Not yet. Moving means the day starts, and the day, is going to be exactly like yesterday. Your father is already up. You hear the scrape of the iron rod in the hearth, the low curses as he tries to coax dying embers back to life. Sparks catch, flicker, then gutter. He tries again. Your mother sits on the bench, cloak wrapped tight. She's not helping. She's staring at the wall, lips moving in silent prayer. Or maybe she's just talking to herself. Your brother lies beside you in the straw, eyes open. He doesn't bother pretending to sleep anymore. He's waiting for it, for the call. It comes. Up. Your father's voice is ragged, tired, but it brooks no argument. You get up, scratch at your collar, feel something squish between your fingers. You wipe it on the straw. Your mother finally moves. She ladles out breakfast, if you can call it that, a thin sludge of barley and nettles. She doesn't even bother trying to make it taste good. You take your bowl without a word. Your brother doesn't move. "Eat," your mother says. He ignores her. "Eat," she says again. He kicks the wall, hard. The daub cracks. Straw falls to the dirt floor. Your father doesn't look up. Your mother closes her eyes. You eat, because you have to. Outside the wind is shrieking. It rips through the gaps in the walls, rattles the work shutters. You pull your cloak tighter, but it's useless. You see your breath when you speak. Not that anyone's talking. Your father stands. He picks up the hoe. It's cracked. The binding twine is fraying. He turns it over in his hands like he's trying to remember what it is. Then he just opens the door. Cold air floods in. Come on. You follow. Outside the village is quiet. Too quiet. No birds, just wind. You walk to the field. It's brown. Dead. Waiting for seed you don't have. Your father pokes at the dirt with the hoe, not really working, just making himself do something. Your brother doesn't even pretend. He leans against the fence you both built. It's half collapsed from the last storm. He stares at nothing. You look around. At the other huts. Smoke rises from a few, thin and sickly. You see the steward's men on the road, counting, watching, making sure no one forgets who owns what. You wonder what would happen if you just walked away. Your brother catches your eye. He shakes his head like he read your mind. They'd find us. You know he's right. Historians still argue whether medieval peasants had freedom, whether they could leave. You know the answer. You can leave your hut, but you can't leave your life. You go back inside at dusk. The wind follows you in, mocking. Your mother's at the hearth, stirring the pot again. She doesn't look up. Dinner is a lie. Water with a whisper of barley. You swallow it anyway. Your father thanks God. Your mother whispers amen. Your brother laughs once. Ugly. No one scolds him. Afterward you lie on the straw. You listen to the wind. You try to dream of something better, of leaving, of learning, of living. But you can't even picture it anymore. Your brother rolls over. Tomorrow, he says. You don't answer, because tomorrow is just today in a different dress. You close your eyes, breathe, wait, because that's all you can do. Now, slow down. Let it fade. The cold air, the smoke, the wet mud between your toes, the endless scraping of hoe against ungrateful earth, the taste of stale bread that crumbles to nothing in your mouth. Let it all drift. Feel your limbs soften into the straw. Feel the fire's warmth, faint though it is, pooling in the hollow of your chest. Listen to the wind outside the shutters, not threatening now, just moving, just breathing for you. Imagine your family is safe. Imagine the pot is full, bubbling rich with meats and herbs you can't even name. Imagine the roof holds the rain at bay, the walls keep the wind out, the floor is swept clean. Picture yourself there, full, warm, alive. No lords to pay, no steward's ledger marking you as property, no bandits at the edge of the wood, just you, and rest. You're allowed that, just this once. Breathe slow, let your thoughts quiet, let the smoke settle. Let the wind move on without you. You don't have to follow. Tonight you're free in one place no one can touch. Your own mind, where the fire always burns, the stew always simmers, and the door is barred tight against anything that would steal your peace. Stay there. Breathe. Rest. Sleep.